Oh, hello, boys and ghouls, and welcome to another episode of the Subwayratpodcast. My name is Luis. You may know me from my band, Teething, or you may know me because of my illustration under the name Luisifer. But everybody knows me because of my funny dog, Bingo. Bingo started growing white hair on his snout at an early age, and I'm always teasing him about it. He just wags his tail, so I'm not sure if he actually feels teased or he just feels happy. Anyways, today's thought is about pizza. I don't think I've ever eaten pizza and been like, I'm just gonna have 2 slices or 3 slices. I mean, I have thought that, but I've never been able to accomplish it. I'm always like full on, you know? Like I always have to eat a lot of pizza. I always want to die after. So, what about you? What about you? Can you handle your pizza? Can you eat like 2-3 slices? That's it? I definitely can't. That's today's thought. Anyways, today's special guest is my special friend Mikko. Mikko plays in the band Ravage Ritual that have been around for a while, for almost 10 years, if not 10 years. And we talk about that, we talk about bananas, and we talk about his solo project, True Lovers, which is fucking awesome. It's a total love letter to the awesome band Orgy. So I'm not going to talk about this anymore, and I'm just gonna let you check out my awesome episode with my awesome friend Mikko. Mikko, it's been a while.
It's
been a tremendous long time. Where are you living now?
I'm still in Seinäjoki.
Okay.
Same town.
Excellent. Keep staying true to your roots. Is this the same house or a different house?
This is a different house, but it's not that far away from where I used to live then.
Excellent. And I see you're happy. I see you're comfy. You're as beautiful as always. It's great to sit down and talk to you. The last time we sat down to talk was 2013.
That might be, that might be true.
It is true. It is true. Anyways, what are you drinking? Is this a tea?
No, I'm having early evening coffee right now. So,
is it cold?
No, it's very warm.
Okay, dude, I'm getting jealous. So if you give me 2 minutes, I want to prepare a nice ginger tea that I recently bought, and I want to try it out. Mikko, and I am back with my triple ginger tea. Do you like ginger in your tea, Mikko?
I drink tea not that often, so
the answer is no.
Well, I don't have ginger that much lying around at my apartment, so I'm not that I wouldn't put it there myself, but if someone else prepares one for me, okay, I'm more than happy.
Okay, so if you were at my house having a great Wednesday afternoon and I was like, Mikko, would you like some triple ginger tea? You would be like, of course.
Yeah, bring it on.
Bring it on, Luis. Mikko, so I've missed you. It's been a long time. I'm glad we could do this. Are you glad we could chat together? Because it's been a while.
Well, definitely. I've been missing you and the other guys as well. I've been trying to keep up with teething stuff and your the illustration stuff. And I saw when you first put up this podcast thing.
Mm-hmm.
I've listened the Petro episode
Oh.
And now when I was preparing for this, I saw the Petri Eskelinen one, the episode 2.
Your friend from Fistem.
Yeah, so I saw that you made an episode with him, and it's on my Spotify. I have it saved in my playlist, but I just recently got time to listen the whole episode. So
okay, and did you enjoy these 2 episodes, Petro and Petri? The only
definitely.
That's curious. The only difference between them is the O and the I. Petri and Petro.
That's true.
Okay. Did you? You know, my girlfriend, every time I'm done with one of these episodes, she asks me, Luis, what did you learn today? So did you learn anything from either Petro or Petri?
I think I did. I think that's, I don't know if there's anything to learn from me, but those guys are definitely, they are with bit more, well, they have experienced music business, especially Petri. He has experienced so a lot. It's just like a really interesting to hear and listen his points of views.
But sometimes it's not necessarily something musical you learn. For example, right now, I've already learned something from you. Would you like me to share what it is?
Well, what it is?
You're very vampiric in your ways. You're very calm. Look at your stance. You know, you're relaxed. I ask you a question. If you need to take 4 seconds to think about it, you do it. Sometimes I feel like I need to run ahead of myself and I end up like tripping over my words. But we all have something to learn from Mikko. At least I do.
Well, thanks a lot. It's been a bit of ongoing, like a inside joke, like my how could I say it? My interest in vampires and so forth. I just today I got in mail. My friend Vesa from Dark Buddha Rising, he builds these like a distortion or like effect pedals for guitars and bass. And I just recently got one from him, and today Vesa and his wife, they sent me a package with this we have this like a small candy package in Finland that's called Dracula pills, and they are like these like a black like licorice, quite sour tasting licorice, like candy, hard candy, and they sent me those because there was a note that said that they forgot to pack those Dracula candies with the pedal I got from them, but because they wanted to send those to me because there's this like an ongoing inside joke that I am this vampire figure of Seinäjoki.
Excellent. So I can totally see this. I wasn't in on the inside joke, and 5 minutes in, I already said you have a vampiric aura surrounding you. That's even the way you drink your coffee, you know. I'm not even sure that's coffee. It might be blood.
Exactly. It can be whatever I'm telling it is, but I take this as a huge compliment because it's something I treasure. I know vampire in me,
and we're gonna get into this is a good subject we could tackle, which is vampires. Before we start off, I mean, we already started off, but I want to get ahead of myself and ask you if you've seen, what's the coolest vampire flick you've seen in the past 5 years, for example? Me.
I can't remember who directed it,
Mm-hmm.
but there's a movie called The Addiction. I think it's something 1995 or something. Edie Falco is a supporting character there. Can't remember who's starring it. It's been a while since I've seen it, but it's really, I think it's really interesting one.
This is from, I just looked it up. The director is Abel Ferreira.
Yeah.
Are you familiar with this director?
Well,
he's
not that
cool,
much.
Man. This guy did Bad Lieutenant with Harvey Keitel from 1992. Okay. I don't know if you're aware of this movie. It's like it's the story of a corrupt cop in New York, but that's it. There's no like, it's like a character study. You just follow this cop around doing the gnarliest shit, and it's a very good movie. And I have written down The Addiction. Just the cover alone looks badass. Very Sisters of Mercy, you know?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's the one from the top of my head that I could I'd like to share.
Okay. Could I share one with you?
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
There's about 3 or 4 years ago, I saw a movie entitled The Transfiguration.
Okay.
Are you familiar with this movie?
No.
Very, very awesome portrayal of. Have you seen Near Dark?
I don't think so.
Okay, well, it's one of those vampire movies where it's not a vampire movie in the traditional sense. Like this one is based in the projects in the ghetto of the outskirts of Manhattan, and it's the star is a young black kid, and he's like 10 years old, and so that's the premise. I don't want to get too much into it, but I think you're gonna enjoy it. Okay. So enough vampire talk, okay? For now.
Yeah. For now, we can conclude.
Exactly. So, Mikko, I'm gonna give a brief introduction on you. For those who don't know you, when I think Mikko, the first thing that comes to mind is Ravage Ritual, because you play bass and you do vocals in that band. But I know you do a lot of other things. For example, your new project, which is True Lovers.
Yeah.
You've also been in several other bands, which we can get into later.
Yeah.
And you're a tech / roadie for a lot of bands as well.
That's true.
Okay. I want to talk to you about all this stuff because I try to follow up on you, but sometimes I lose track. So is there anything you want to add to your CV?
No, well, the vampire enthusiast, but we got it covered already. So okay. I think that's most.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's okay. We got it covered. Okay, so my first question, which is my favorite question, I'll ask all of my guests from the Subway Rat podcast. I ask them this question, which is, Mikko, do you prefer sweet or salty food?
I was really trying to prepare for this.
Okay.
And I think I have to go with salty food.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's we all eat to survive. Even the vampires need to survive.
Dude, I would love, I'm so sorry. I would love if we just twist this whole podcast around and just talk like exaggerate the vampire thing to 10 and just talk like vampires.
But I was going through the previous episodes. I was a bit envious when there's a people who are really enthusiastic about eating food and preparing food, and I think I'm one of the worst cooks around the world. The world. I managed to like feed myself, but that's quite I'm at my best when I'm surviving and feeding myself. So I would like to be really enthusiastic about some like some specific kitchen or foods or anything, but for now I'm just like I eat and go on.
Well, Mikko, like I totally respect and understand your answer, because a lot of people eat for fun. You eat for instinct. Once a month, you prowl the nights of Seinäjoki for your victims, and you feed on blood.
Exactly. Yeah.
So this, you just need to quench your thirst, your survival. So let's go. Is blood sweet or salty?
I think it depends on the human.
Okay. On your victim. Okay.
Yeah. But I think it's bittersweet at best. I think so.
Interesting. It's its own unique taste. It's bittersweet.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's your answer. Excellent answer. My favorite answer so far in the 20 episodes I've done. And Mikko, when you're on tour and you're having like a gloomy gray day, what's your favorite snack to pick on at the gasoline station? Because believe it or not, during the pandemic, what I miss the most is going to gasoline stations while being on tour. I miss this, like that little excitement you get, that little rush you get from, oh, gas stop, we have 15 minutes. So what's your drug of choice at the gas station?
It's an excellent question, and I have to start with I've done a couple of shows during this pandemic, mostly streaming shows.
Mm-hmm.
But I was on a ride from Seinäjoki to Helsinki.
Okay.
And it was amazing when you get that feeling on the road that I'm starting to get really hungry, and you know that the stop is not going to happen really soon yet, and then it hits you that even when it's not the most pleasant feel, mm-hmm. to feel hunger, but to be reminded that this is part of the things that happen on the road, and it hits you that I've been also missing the feel of hunger, or in a way, or like right. that the feeling of that there's no escape. I'm in a car and the stop is not going to happen anytime soon. But I digress. But maybe the one of my favorites, and I think it's a France exclusive thing. They have this like a triangle sandwich, and I think they market as this kind of like a Swedish bread. It's like I think in Finland we have a word for it, rieska. It's this like a as well. I don't know anything about food, but it's this certain kind of bread. And the French have this like a triangle sandwich that has that. It's something okay. Sweden and something, and it's like this rieska bread, okay. Triangle bread, and there's some cheese between. Can't remember at all which brand it is, but when I see it on the fridge, I know okay. That's it, and that's what I go. That's what I go with. And they also have also France exclusive item. They have this like coffee machines. They are like a purple color coffee machines, and you can get this like it's like a bit of chocolate and some chocolate and hazelnut coffee.
That sounds delicious.
That you can get from those machines, and they are really great. So I always I'm really eager to get to France and get to the French like those rest stops and.
So in Mikko's perfect world, you would have on your left hand purple hazelnut coffee, and on the right hand you would have a triangle sandwich.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
This is not, because when I think sandwich in France, first thing that comes to mind is croque monsieur. This is not it, right?
No.
Okay. Yeah, because croque monsieur is a regular size sandwich, and it just has like melted cheese on the top.
Yeah.
Okay. Enough food talk. We are done with the food talk. Now I'm gonna ask you a typical but important question, which is, how has the pandemic been for Mikko? How have you been handling COVID? What's changed for you? I'm guessing there's been a lot of changes, good ones and bad ones. What's give me some pointers on how it's been this last year for you.
Well, it's been a quite a big change, because I'm quite much used to travel a lot with different bands, and especially summertime when there's festivals and everything, it gets quite busy. But on the good side, there has been a lot of time to spend on things that would have not normally get done, like probably the True Lovers album. It's been a long time in the making, but the finishing touches, it was necessary to have free time, like not to be on tour and all that. So it's there has been also good things, but the major ones has been the not getting income.
Okay.
No.
Because go ahead. Go ahead. I don't want to cut you off.
Yeah, it's. I don't know. Well, I graduated from this school from Seinäjoki in 2016. I think there's some like a English word for what I am, but it's something like a cultural management kind of thing.
Okay.
And of course, it's also, it relies quite heavily on the events and festivals and tours and stuff. So like everything I have been doing up to this point has been like the touring or like being working with events as a technician.
Okay.
or something else. So when the every event or festival or gig or anything they just vanish. So,
Right.
so it's been quite surreal.
Yeah. Okay. So Mikko, your main job / income is working events, mostly musical events, concerts, tours, festivals.
Yeah.
And you say either you tech or you do some sort of production.
Well, mostly I do tech stuff. I'm either with the I'm with the band, or then I work as an in-house technician. We have a 1,100 capacity venue in Seinäjoki, Rytmikorjaamo, and there's many gigs and events and stuff going there normally at the normal situation. So it's been a really nice place to work.
Okay. And Mikko, apart from this, I know sometimes you tour with bands, right? Like all around Europe. Can you give me like a couple of bands you've toured with?
Well, mostly the one band that employs me the most is of course Oranssi Patsutsu. Okay. They have. I've been doing lighting work for light design and all sorts of other stuff since I think 2011, maybe something like that. And they have, during the time I've been with them, they have become quite big now at the Nucleoplast. The latest album came out with Nucleoplast. And Dark Buddha Rising also, they have employed me quite much.
Because sorry, go ahead, continue.
Yeah, well, the latest or the last tour I did was with Marko Hietala, the guy who used to play bass in Nightwish. I think he quit maybe late last year or something. He released a solo album, I think 2019, summer 2019, and we did I did a tour with him as a light designer. In really early 2020, and that was the last tour I've done so far.
So you also do lighting. Remember a couple of years ago, you were on tour. I don't know what band it was with, but you hit me up. You hit me and David up. David, the bassist of Teething, being like, "Hey, I'm gonna be in Madrid, Sala Caracol. You guys should come to the show." And unfortunately, I think you got food poisoning. You and the rest of the crew got food poisoning, so you had to stay back in the hotels, the hotel. But you were nice enough to drop off a bag with Ravage Ritual merchandise, I believe. I don't know who you dropped it off with, but they gave it to us. So that was very nice of you. What band was that?
It was Oranssi Patsutsu.
Gotcha. Was this the tour with Gauss Weird or no?
I think it. I really can't remember.
Okay.
But
no worries.
I think Patsutsu, they were headlining the tour, maybe.
Okay.
Maybe. Okay. I'm not sure. But anyways, yeah, it's been one of those like it was really funny, really. Well, not at the moment it wasn't funny, but now, like when I'm remembering it all, it's quite funny. We did a festival in, I think we were on tour with Cobalt. Maybe. Because maybe we did a festival in Portugal called SWR Festival.
Correct. Yeah.
And
Barroselas.
Yeah, and after that gig, we had 1 day off, and it was the only day off with the whole tour. And during that day off, I was starting to feel a bit sick, and at the night, our tour manager and front of house guy Nikos, I woke him up at night, and I was starting to tell him that I think I'm going to die. I was I was feeling really sick. And he drove me to, well, we drove around in Portugal, in Barroselas, trying to find like a hospital or something, and I blacked out at some point.
Wow.
But I know that I was they took some blood tests and stuff, and gave me a little bit something like the, what's it called, with the IV, some fluids and stuff, and they gave me some medication, and they can't remember that exactly those moments, but they gave me some medicine, and I was really sick for a couple of days after that, but I got on my back on my feet again after some days. So
wow.
It was, but it's been, I think it's been the only time I was really certain that I'm going to die. I was feeling really sick, but
dude,
and I was the only one who had anything, like nobody else was feeling weird or anything. So I was the only one, and I don't know how it panned out, but.
So you have no idea where this came from, why you felt this way?
No, but I think it has to be some kind of food poisoning or something. So
okay. And what I mean, I've been through lots of pain. I've had food poisoning, but I've never gotten to the point where it's like, I am going to die. Like, what were you feeling? What hurt? Was it your stomach? Was it your head? What did you feel super weak? What was
I felt really weak. We were staying at some kind of hotel, maybe near Barroselas, can't remember exactly, but my room was at the second floor, and there was no lift, and earlier during the night, when there was the men's room where at the lower floor, so every time I had to throw up or anything, I had to walk down the stairs, and I remember the last trip when I was like going back upstairs, I was like on all fours, and I was like crawling to the to the second floor.
Dude.
and I was quite certain that I'm not going to make it.
Wow, dude, that's hardcore. But well, that was nice. You were able to at least hook me and David up with some merch. I don't know how you did it, feeling that way, but thank you so much.
Yeah, it was a bit of a bummer because I was really looking forward to seeing you.
Yeah.
Because it's not that common that at least for the bands that I work with to reach Spain or Portugal
right
during the European dates. So it would have been really nice to see you.
Dude, so this is a perfect segue. Let's talk about Ravage Ritual for a bit. Is that cool?
Yeah.
Okay, so I love Ravage Ritual. My story with Ravage Ritual goes way back. We've toured together. We've split together. We became great friends, both Ravage Ritual and Teething on tour. For me, it's one of those tours I hold very close to my heart because it was like my first real tour, you know? So I was very excited. I feel like we were all pretty young, you know? We had that youthful energy. So we were all really excited. And yeah, so I have here a couple of stories. I have two stories I want to share with you about when we toured together. I don't know if you recall them, okay?
Okay.
One of them is in Luleå, Sweden. Where do you recall that show? It was snowing a lot. There was a point at the Teething show where I told the audience I had a wish list, which was to be able to sing in the snow because I had never done that. And I opened. I see you remember that. So
yeah, I remember now.
Okay. So I made my way through the fire exit with the microphone in my hand, and I jumped in the snow while still singing, and it was like it was really deep, the snow, so like I fell all the way down, but I made my wish come true. So I sang in the snow. So now you recall the show, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. But that's not the story I want to share with you. That's just for you to refresh in your memory. Before the show, because we had played 3 days in Finland, but when we got to Luleå, Sweden, it was extra cold. And I remember you, and I don't remember who else went with you. You just got the van, you took a drive for some reason, whatever. And then you came back to the show with a bag of socks. You remember? You came with a bag of socks, and I don't know, there must have been, there was 10 socks in the bag of socks. And you were like, oh, Luis, here, this is for you and the rest of the Teething guys. And I'm like, why are you giving us a bag of socks? You're like, because it's very cold and you guys need to take care of your feet so they're not cold. And in that moment, I was like, this is the nicest guy I've ever met in my life. Do you remember this story?
I remember. Yeah. Because I believe some of you guys had like those jeans that were a bit short.
Oh,
so you can see your ankles.
Yeah.
And I remember just like taking a look at and seeing those bare ankles, and I was like, those guys must be freezing. I was feeling really bad for you guys, but I think I don't know. It was in no way any like meant to like if you want to go with that way, it's okay. But I know it can get a bit chilly out there. So and I wasn't sure that because we know our surroundings and we know where you can get some good socks.
So not only is Mikko a bloodthirsty vampire, he's also very motherly, you know? That's very caring. So that stood out to me like, okay, I like Mikko very much. Do you want to hear the next story?
Definitely, yeah.
Oh, and I just remembered a third one. Okay. And please, while I'm telling you these stories, if you want to share any story from that tour that you would like to let me and the audience know, I would love to refresh in my memory. Another story was during the last show, which was one of the coolest shows I've ever played, which was in Stockholm. We played a house show. I love house shows. That's what I like the most about being in teething, just playing random spots, you know, more than like big festivals or whatever. I like playing weird places. So that was a great way to end the tour. And I just recall after the show, or before or after the show, I was talking to you, and for some reason you were with me at the teething merch booth, you know. So while you were talking to me, we were just talking about, oh, what a great tour that's been. While you were talking, unconsciously, you were getting teething's wrinkled ass merchandise and you were folding it one by one. Another very motherly gesture. So unconsciously, you were taking care of our merch. And I'm like, dude, are you aware that you're doing this? I don't recall what your answer was, but it made total sense. It was something like, Luis, you know, my hands are free. I might as well just fold all of your clothes properly or something like that. Do you remember this moment?
Not exactly, no. But yeah, I've been, well, while touring with bands, I usually say that I can do anything else but the merch because I'm really bad with like really hectic situations and when there's money involved and suddenly I have my hands full of cash and there's somebody wants a 7-inch and somebody wants a hoodie and I have all this money and what I'm supposed to do. But one thing I like to do is to organize that it's easy for everybody else to do their part. So I well can't remember this exact moment, but you need to take care of your merch.
Yeah, exactly. Another motherly gesture from Mikko. So that's good. You know your limits. You know, I'm the guy that's usually at the merch. So when the show's done, I'll run to the merch, all sweaty, and there'll be at least a couple of people that want merch, and they're talking to me at the same time. And I have a sweaty shirt on. I have money in one hand. I'm trying to get, as you say, a 7-inch, some pins, some patches, a hoodie, and it's too much. So it's good you know your limits. I can't multitask in this scenario. I've learned how to do it little by little, but I need to not be rude, but I need to be like, if someone else is talking to me while I'm talking to someone, I'm like, please give me a second. I'm focusing on this person and I need So good. Two other stories from that tour just came to mind. Okay. Can I share them with you?
Give them,
bring them on. Do you remember every teething tour has a soundtrack? There's that one song. Do you remember what the song of that tour was?
I was, as I was preparing to this, I was trying to reminisce the times, and there's definitely one song that comes to mind. It's the Swedish House Mafia song.
Yes.
What's the name of the song?
Fuck, I can't remember either, but it's their hit.
Don't you worry, child.
Yes.
Whatever.
Yes,
it's the name of the song, but that's the song. And I think it's still a really great song.
It's an excellent song. It's a fucking great song, dude. Yeah, and that song will always remind me of that tour. So good times. And are you aware that the best pizza I ever ate was with you on that tour?
Really?
Yeah. It was somewhere in Finland. This was what I don't eat meat anymore, but this was at a time where I ate meat. And you told me the day before, you're like, Luis, tomorrow we're going to a pizza place, and I highly recommend you get the ham, curry, and banana pizza.
Yeah.
And I was like, that sounds so weird. There's no way I'm not going to try that. And yeah, and it was amazing. It was very good. I have not had the guts to try to replicate this pizza at home because I make a lot of pizza at home. I feel like I would butcher it. But thanks for the tip with that pizza. I recall you had already tried it before.
Yeah, I had tried it a couple of different times, and sadly that pizza place doesn't exist anymore. And I've tried to, because I was and still am quite in love with that specific pizza. I've tried to do it in home in many different forms and ways to be exact, to like experiment a little, but it has not been the same.
Does it come close?
Sometimes, okay. Yeah, but I don't know what they did and how, but it's for me, it also stands out as one of the many great pizzas.
Yes, for sure. I didn't expect banana and cheese to have such a good fusion. They just worked so well together. I remember that's what was most surprising to me.
Yeah.
And sorry, go ahead.
I've been quite an advocate for banana as a whole. Like I usually try it on everything, on bread, pizza, and many other places. Many people would not do it.
Okay.
But I am all for the banana. Yeah, definitely.
Maybe the next time, maybe tonight when you're hunting one of your victims and you suck their blood, you can accompany it with a banana.
Could be.
Okay.
Could be. Yeah.
Is there any stories you would like to share, or a story or an incident or something that stood out to you about that tour? I would love to hear one.
Well, for me, it also goes down as one of the greatest tours I have been, because it comes down to you guys, and because on tour, when you are on tour, you want things to go as smoothly as they can, and with you guys it always went. And there has been only couple of times during my touring years that everything has gone really smoothly, and I think every day was much of fun.
Yeah.
And the gigs were great, and everything was just going really smoothly. So
yeah, I think our personalities, even though we were, I think we just shared similar sense of humor, and we were all very easygoing, and none of us, because I'm sure you've been in this situation, none of us were like, are into like big drinkers or into drugs. It was just like we would enjoy more going out for food or having a laugh, just a bit more easygoing. So I think we gelled well in that aspect.
Definitely. I think myself that you were the butthead to our beavis, so to speak. in that situation. So.
That's a great way of putting it. Excellent. So we're gonna talk a bit more about Ravage Ritual, because I want to talk about right now, at this moment, 2021, you are 2 albums deep, 2 EPs, 1 split. I think that's correct. I think that's your discography so far. I really want to give you props on the latest album, not the latest EP. The latest album, I think, was the best work you've done so far. Although I do have a special place in my heart for the early stuff, just because that's when we were more active together.
Yeah.
I want to ask you, what's on the horizon, recording-wise?
We got quite finished with the 3rd album material last summer.
Mm-hmm.
And we have recorded almost everything, drums, bass, and guitars, during January. But it came to point that Timmy, our vocalist, he didn't want to be in the band anymore. It was for a couple of years. I think it became more and more like you could see that he didn't have that same like
the flame,
inspiration and everything. He's been living in Turku, which is quite a travel from Seinäjoki, or to travel to Seinäjoki for band practice and stuff. So and we had a big discussion late last year about all kinds of things, and it became clear that he's in a different place, and he's quite a different person now that what he was when we have done those albums and stuff. So it's been we have stuff recorded for the 3rd album, but at the moment we are not quite settled with the vocalist or how we do the vocals. So it's a bit up in the air, but we have some plans, and the 3rd album will be out at some point.
Ooh,
hopefully sooner than later. But anything else we have not quite settled on anything yet, so we will see how it goes.
Okay. I like that grin you gave me, like as if there's something like very cool boiling up that you can't say, I imagine.
Well, I hope so that there is. I think so, but let's see.
Seems to me like someone offered their vocal duties that are very cool, and maybe it'll happen. See, something like that. See, but we're not gonna get into it. Maybe when we're off camera, I can ask you. But rewinding a bit, very unfortunate to hear about Timmy.
Yep.
Great guy, great friend, great vocalist. So like without, I don't know how much you want to get into this because you already got into it, but it feels like from what you're telling me, it's like he's in a different place in his life. It's not like he's focusing his energy on a different musical project. It just feels like he's over it.
Yeah, he's active with he's been playing bass with this sludge band called Sunniva out from Turku, and they have been quite active playing gigs here and there and doing releases, but I had a discussion with him during last summer in Turku, and I think he's just like he has found his place at the moment in Turku, and he surrounded himself with things that he likes and loves doing, and he's working at restaurant, and I think he's okay. He has his life quite in balance. So I understand, and the lyrical context and stuff in Ravage Ritual has always been quite dark, and it has come from a really dark place inside Timmy, and from really rough experiences, and I more than understand that he's not willing to go into that same place when he has like evolved and gone forth with things outside the darkness and everything. So at the same time, I can't say I'm disappointed, but I think we had a good thing going, but I more than understand his point of view and wanting to go on with things. So
okay, yeah, it seems I think you explained it quite well, and it's very understanding. I mean, when Timmy first joined Ravage Ritual, he was a teenager, right?
Yeah.
And he's must be in almost 30 or late 20s now.
Yeah.
So he's in a different place in his life, a better place from what you're saying. So overall, happy for him. It's unfortunate but I feel like there's light at the end of the tunnel, and you guys already are boiling up some cool plans, which I hope to know sooner than later.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay. I want to ask you about the link that Ravage Ritual has with Integrity and Dwid, because I feel like especially Ville, or you guys in general, have always been big fans of Integrity, but at some point somewhere you built a friendship or some sort of link with them. So can you tell me about this?
Well, we warmed up for Integrity for 3 shows a couple of years ago in Germany and Poland and somewhere. Okay. Can't remember exactly, but it's I think Ville was maybe a bit more involved with Dwid through social media, and I think they met up in Helsinki or somewhere at some point, but I think it was just the case that our name came up with some like integrity related posts or something, and he discovered some of our releases and liked some of that, because I don't think we would have otherwise warmed up for them for those shows. But I don't. Maybe Ville knows a bit more about that. But but it was just like a maybe some kind of happy accident that that our music just linked some way.
I feel like Ville was more behind this, so I'll make sure I ask him.
Yeah.
Okay. We're gonna jump to True Lovers now. Your new upcoming exciting project, which I happily just discovered this week. I had no idea you were working on this. And is this, correct me if I'm wrong, this is your, pretty much it's a one-man project. Are you the only person involved here?
Yes. I hope that I get to have some friends or some people as a band. I really hope that it's a thing that I could do some gigs with.
Okay.
But up until now, it's been only me doing the songs and instruments and lyrics and stuff.
What's because it sounds great, sounds awesome. It's very much you know. And what instruments are you using here?
Well, there's a guitar and bass, some keyboards, and I would really like to use live drums, but it's programmed drums all the way.
Okay.
But I hope I would have some studio time with some of my drummer friends.
Okay. But
to have some.
I'm sorry, this kind of project does also sound good with programmed drums. So it's not like maybe with a different band it wouldn't come off right, but here it does.
Yeah, well, I'm quite happy how it sounds and how it panned out, but yeah.
Okay, so tell me about a bit more about True Lovers. What's the goal? Because for now, you released a song or a couple of songs, and what's the plan? Like, is there an album? Please, yeah.
There's a couple of songs now in Spotify, and tomorrow there will be the last single released. The full-length album will be out next month, 28th, the last Friday next month. It will be out through Future Lunch label. It's run by a couple of my friends from this band. They were called Mr. Peter Hayden, and then they were called PH. And I think their most recent name is N-Fin or something like that. It's one guy from Mr. Peter Hayden and the other guy from this band called Horte.
Okay.
And they live in Seinäjoki also, and they were brave enough to release the album.
Awesome.
So it will be out through them.
I'm sorry, let me cut you off. When you say it's gonna be out through them, so it's getting a physical release. That's what you mean?
Yeah, there will be a CD.
Okay. Excellent.
CD release. Probably not vinyl. I don't know. It's I was trying to think about the vinyl release, but then I started thinking that it's all done by me and it's mixed by me and everything, and to end up in a vinyl, it's a kind of sacrilege in a way. I don't think it's I think it's so influenced by the bands that were thriving at the CD world and the CD era, that the CD is really the great format to release it.
Okay, so you find CD is the most appropriate for true lovers. Okay, that
yeah,
I can respect that. I can see that. Dude, this just sorry, I don't want to go back to Ravage Ritual, but the latest EP, did you guys ever release it on 7-inch or was it just CD?
It was only CD. It was supposed to come out as a 7-inch, but I think it was one of those cases that at some point some labels just stop like replying to emails and
okay.
and
one of
messages
those cases.
and
okay,
one of those cases, you know.
okay.
I believe so. It's been a couple of years, so I really don't know what exactly happened with that, because it was supposed to be only 7-inch and then it came to be only a CD, but
Okay.
I don't know.
Anything else you want to elaborate on about True Lovers, or you think you got it?
Well, I think it's I don't know if it's for me, I think it's a fresh take on bands from the late 90s and early 2000s, and especially if you are a fan of like those cheesy horror movie soundtracks like Dracula 2000 or something like that, then it's a band up to your alley. But
I'm sorry to cut you off again, but that's such an interesting influence. You bite off, which is Dracula 2000 soundtrack. What else? What? Where else are you getting influences from? That's super interesting. I've never heard a band cite like that soundtrack as an influence.
Well, I don't know. Those were like the bands that I was really into in my teens. So I don't know. Maybe it's, in a way, I think it's a bit of nostalgia trip also for me to, in a way. I think in a not in a bad way. I think in some weird way to like try and take my part on that scene and those bands. I don't know.
You know what comes to mind? A band I love, and I'm sure you love too. Orgy.
Well, I think it's really hard to pinpoint just one exact band, but the Orgy, I think, well, if I had to choose only one band, it's definitely Orgy. Yeah. Excellent. And you are so right with that. Yeah.
Excellent. Well, I don't know about you, but I am, to this day, I'm sure you too, I will still rock those first two albums. Candy Ass, and what's the second one called?
It's a Vapors.
One? Yeah.
Something. The third one was Punk Static Paranoia, and the second one is something Vapor something.
It's the one with Vapor Transmission, correct?
Yeah.
Those are two excellent albums, and the best songs on those albums are not the singles. There's some really cool, like deep gems on those albums.
That's exactly right. Yeah, and what really inspires me is the production by the Jay Gordon and the guitar player, the Amir, and they did some amazing production on the Danzig's Satan's Child album. There's a couple of tracks that Jay and Amir they mixed and produced for that album, and they are really great sounding tracks. And they are well. The Satan's Child it's an amazing album, but when you really dig into the what those guys did on that album, it's amazing.
I wasn't aware they were involved in Danzig, Satan's Child. That's super interesting. What, production wise or songwriting wise? Or
I think they mixed a couple of tracks on that album.
Okay. Are you a fan of this album? What's it? This band that Amir and Jay had with Chester from Linkin Park?
I know the band. I can't remember the name at all.
Yeah.
I've heard it. I like it.
Okay. I never got in when it came out. I checked it out. It didn't. I thought it was interesting. It didn't grab me, but this conversation makes me want to go revisit that album because I'm sure it's great. It just deserves more of a list. Dead by Sunrise. I
remember it's not that metal of an album. It's hard rocking, but not quite metal. If I remember correctly, it's a bit on the harder rock side.
Yeah. You know, another band of that era, of the orgy era, that's very interesting and that went unheard of was what was it called? Was it Videodrome?
Yeah. If I remember correctly, it was something like Korn's Jonathan Davis is like a cousin or
no,
something.
you're getting confused with Adema.
Okay.
But yeah, the lead singer
I remember the Videodrome. They had a really weird music video where they played something like a really shiny and big guitars or something. It was something Gramercy Park was one of the singles.
The key to Gramercy Park. There you go. Good memory.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was getting confused because the correct spelling of the band is not Videodrome like the movie, but Videodrone with an N at the end. That's why I was trying to figure it out. Okay. Yeah, and they did have a link with Korn, which was Korn at a point. They had a record label, and I think Orgy and Videodrone were on the label.
Okay.
So it had a similar vibe.
And it's definitely on those. Well, not quite the A-list bands, but the on those bands that have gone a bit under the radar that I think still deserve to get noticed. It's well, one of my really favorites is the Stabbing Westward.
Ah, yes.
And they have inspired quite a lot. Darkest Days by the Stabbing Westward, and I think it was self-titled, probably the last album that they did during the active years. It's I think I hope you can hear it.
That's one of those bands that, like, my good friend Tom Dodd from back in the day, obviously he was more inclined to like the industrial gothic stuff. He really liked Stabbing Westward. I never gave them the chance, but is Darkest Day the album you recommend I start off with?
Yeah, do that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Duly noted. Stabbing Westward, Darkest Days. Excellent. So I think we've tackled. This was an interesting twist to our conversation. I'm glad we could talk about this. Any other bands you've been involved with or you want to mention? Because I know you were, for example, in I can't pronounce it correctly, Gangrened for a while.
Yeah, Gangrened.
Gangrened.
I was active with that band for many years, and with the Corona stopping all the gigs, we had a lot of time last year, and I recorded the vocals for the Gangrened's full-length album that was released quite recently, maybe a month or two ago, something like that. Last summer, I did the lyrics and recorded the vocals, but the drums and bass were recorded during summer 2018. So it was a really long process to get the album done.
Mm-hmm.
And the guitar player Jon, he recorded his guitars from summer 2018 up to late 2020.
Okay.
So it was really a long process to get the album done, and there was a lot of trivial things and everything, but I ended up leaving the band before the album was really released. But I have not really heard the really latest mix of the album.
Okay.
But from my good friend Tom mixed the album. He's been doing many really great albums in Finland. In his studio, he's been involved with Oranssi Patsutsu and Dark Buddha and Kairon Irse.
Okay.
All great bands, and he's been doing live sound also for Oranssi Patsutsu and the bands I've been working with. So it was really nice to have him mixing the album. But the guitar player's vision about the lyrics and the vocals.
Is this John?
Yeah, they were not that in line with my vision about how the vocals and everything should go. And after some time, I just said that, do what you want, and because it's his band, and in a way I was with my way of how I wanted to do the vocals. I was standing on his way and on his vision about how he wants the album to be done, and it's his band, and he has every right to do whatever he wants with his band. But still, as the lyricist and as the vocalist, I felt a bit like yeah, maybe it didn't went quite the way I would have it liked to go, but as I said, in the end, it's his band, and I didn't want to like end up being like me fighting over every detail and
right.
that sort of thing. I delivered the tracks and said that, okay, do what you want to do with them.
Okay. So so what was, if you don't mind me asking, what was the conflict? Like, you wanted the lyrics and vocal style in a certain form, and John wanted them in another way, right? So
yeah, bit like that.
Okay.
I think there's a one like a really psychedelic track on the album, and the most recent mix that I have heard of the album and of that song, I don't think they have used my vocal tracks on that song at all. I don't believe so.
Okay.
So it went quite different, like a psychedelic remixed way.
Okay.
The
Is
vocals
this,
on that one.
are we talking about the Deadly Algorithm album?
Yeah.
Okay. I think we covered Gangrened a lot. Any other musical projects you want to talk about?
Nothing quite concrete yet, but Ville from Ravage, he has a black metal kind of project. I've been tracking. I recorded drums for his EP, and I started to mix the drums, and we will record guitars and all the other stuff later. But he has a project that I hope will be something refreshing. It's
Awesome.
quite blast beaty kind of stuff, but it's quite melodic and
okay,
refreshing.
That's
but
cool.
he has some stuff that will be something.
Excellent. I had no idea about this. That's cool. Who's singing on this project?
I think Ville, he will be doing the singing or the howling.
Okay, that's cool. He has a good howl.
That boy can howl a whole day.
Yeah. Okay, so Mikko, did you notice that during our hour and a half chat or hour chat, the room has been getting darker and darker and darker?
It has been, yeah. Just the way I like it.
Yes. And so is your laugh. Every time it's getting darker and deeper and darker and deeper. Okay, so before we go into the night, before we fly into the night, I want to ask you a question that I ask all of my guests, which is, have you seen any cool horror flicks during the pandemic? Anything that stood out apart from The Addiction?
Well, quite many. The couple of most recent ones, not really great or not really good, but I saw the Maniac Cop 1, Maniac Cop 2, and Maniac Cop 3. I had to watch them all. Well, the first one with Tom Atkins, it's a great one. Yeah. Second one, it's okay. And the third one, it's the world could have done without it, but it's still great that there is the third one. But would I recommend them? first one, definitely, yeah. Maniac Cop, yeah. Oh yeah, and I saw the Phantasm.
Before we go into Phantasm,
Yeah.
Maniac Cop. Another cool piece of trivia that people aren't aware: Bruce Campbell is in Maniac Cop as well, which is really cool. So
Yeah,
Tom Atkins and Bruce Campbell, that's a cool combo. The 3 Maniac Cop movies, are they all directed by William Lustig?
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
I think so.
A cool piece of trivia about these movies, I must admit, I've only seen the first one. And I thought it was okay. But I do have a soft spot in my heart for just horror movies that take place in New York. So I like that aspect. But a cool piece of trivia is the storyline behind Maniac Cop is that this was a time and place in movies where cop movies were popular, like Beverly Hills Cop. So they just got, William Lustig got the word maniac and cop, and I believe he just built upon this, you know?
Yeah.
So that's cool. And but I'll make sure this is a trilogy I want to revisit at some point. So I think I'm going to do that. Thank you for the reminder. Please, you were going to mention Phantasm, I believe.
Yeah, I also watched the Phantasm from first, second, third, and the fourth.
Mm-hmm.
I believe there's the fifth one that's called Ravager.
Mm-hmm.
Phantasm. I can't remember if it's Phantasm 5 Ravager or is it just like a Ravager, but it's like the fifth.
I think it's Phantasm 5 Ravager.
Yeah.
I might be wrong.
Yeah. I haven't seen the fifth one, but now when I really love to see watch movies and the weirder the better.
Yeah.
But the first Phantasm, it's really amazing. It's really amazing movie, and when you really think about it, it can the whole movie can be a dream.
Exactly.
It might be that nothing is happening, but it also can be that the storyline it goes as it goes, but it's really weird and it's really well made, and I think in their own weird way the sequels also work really nicely.
Yeah, I love the Phantasm saga. I've only seen, like you, 1 through 4. I haven't seen Ravager, which is it's pretty recent, right? I think it's before the tall man died, like right.
Yeah.
They were able to film it right before he passed away, unfortunately. But I don't know. I haven't heard any. I think it's. I don't know. I haven't heard great things about it, but I don't. I only trust myself. Even though, it's one of those things, and
especially with this kind of horror movies, you can only trust yourself.
Exactly. But I did enjoy I have a special story behind Phantasm. I was late to the game watching these movies. I just watched them in the early, I don't know, I must have watched them for the first time 8 years ago or something like that.
Yeah.
Which is surprising because, I don't know, they're classics, you know, and I'm surprised I didn't get to them earlier. But when teething began, David and I, the bassist, had a very cool tradition, which was for whenever when it was his birthday, I would get him like amazing gifts. And likewise, it was just a ridiculous tradition where it's like like ridiculous gifts. Like, I'm going to spend 100 euros on your birthday, getting you something that's like amazing. So one year he got me like an excellent Phantasm box set, which is like the sphere with all of the movies inside. And it's beautiful. I have it hanging up there. And obviously when he got it, I had not seen the movies at that point, but what better way to watch these movies than that way? So I think I watched them all in a weekend, and I enjoyed them so much, and they work really well. I think the cast is always really great in all of the films, and they kind of work like they're the first one being my favorite. It's very dreamlike. It's from the 70s, if I'm correct.
Yeah.
And it has that 70s vibe that works great with Phantasm. It would have been so cool if all of the films were filmed during the 70s, but it's perfectly fine. They're filmed in the 80s and the 90s as well. But they kind of work like a TV show. Like the sequels just it's continuous. Like they what's the word? They start off right where they ended, you know?
Yeah.
So that was a lot of fun. I remember that weekend in my life very, very fondly. I had a good time. Any other sagas? That's cool that you do like sagas. You know, you do like the many times people just watch part 1 and 2 and that's it.
Yeah.
You make it. I feel like you make it. You consciously make an effort to watch the whole thing.
Yeah. I think you have to do that, and I can understand that regular people, because even I got a bit bored with the Maniac Cup 3 at some points, but but it's I've been trying to find time to start the Candyman saga. I have only seen the first one, and there's quite many parts to that, so I really need to. I have only seen the first one, so really I really need to catch up on that.
Yeah, that's a good one. Thank you for reminding me about that. I love the first Candyman. I'm guessing you do as well.
Yeah.
It's such a unique movie. I love the setting in Chicago, in the ghetto. There's something I love about that movie I just mentioned to you before, Transfiguration. It has a very similar setting, you know. I love horror movies that are set in like the projects in the ghetto with a mostly black cast. I've seen part 2. I didn't enjoy it, and I haven't seen more. And I didn't know there was I think there's only 3. I might be wrong. I know they did a remake recently. I don't know if it came out or not, but the trailer looked cool actually. And that's a good one. Thank you for reminding me.
How about the ghetto horror films? How you like the Killjoy?
Oh shit, I haven't. Wait, Killjoy, is that a movie?
Yeah. It's this it's like a I just saw it recently. It's this like a clown from.
Okay.
He opens kind of like portals to hell, and it's happening in the hoods, so to speak. So
awesome. I'm looking up images as we speak, and I see there's at least 4 movies, and
there's quite many. Yeah.
Would you recommend I at least watch?
Do the first one. I have not seen. I have only seen the first one.
Dude, awesome. This thank you for the recommendation, because I To tell you the truth, the poster art does not look great, but
yeah,
especially the logo looks quite fucked up.
yeah.
But I'm gonna trust you on this one, and I'm gonna check it out because from what you're telling me, it feels like something I could definitely enjoy. I might actually even go ahead and purchase the movie because I enjoy movies more if I buy them, as you can tell from my background. And awesome. I hadn't, but on the theme of horror movies in the ghetto with mostly black cast, I stumbled upon Tales from the Hood recently. Have you seen this?
It's the Leprechaun.
That's that's like part 4 in Leprechaun.
It was something from the Hood, the Leprechaun.
I think it's just called Leprechaun in the Hood. I think
could be. Yeah.
I haven't seen that one. I have all of the Leprechaun movies here, so I think I got as far as Into Space. I'm still waiting for Freddy in Space, by the way. But Tales from the Hood, it's an anthology film where it's like 4 mini movies.
Okay.
Very cool, very cool. I would highly recommend Tales from the Hood.
I will list it.
Okay. Killjoy is on the hunt. Any other shout outs before we say goodbye to each other?
My mind is full of horror films now. Can't think anything, but thanks a lot to you for having me here. I don't know if there was so many great people that have been guests on your show up until now. So I don't know if how I rank.
You rank as the greatest, Mikko. You rank as the greatest. That was Ravage Ritual with their song Millennial Reign off their second full-length album entitled Higher Power. This is my favorite album of theirs, so I wanted to share this song, which is one of my favorite songs, very, very heavily influenced by bands like Integrity. And that is 2 thumbs up in my book. Anyways, if you enjoyed this episode, please like, subscribe, rate, or tell your friend about it, or tell your grandmother about it, or tell the pizza delivery guy about it, because you know you're gonna eat the whole pizza, just like myself. Tonight I had nachos, which is not as good as pizza, but it's pretty fucking good, and it's that's Saturday dinner in my book. Enough. Goodbye, good morning.